seeks to call for an enactment of a law to give legal backing to constituency projects, create constituency development fund, provide processes and procedures for their implementation, and ensure transparency, accountability, and probity, and also ensure that the public is properly educated on how these funds are applied. Mr. Speaker, every year members of the National Assembly are required to identify projects in their various constituencies and recommend same to the executive during budgeting. We do not have direct control to the implementation of these projects. The award, financing, and supervision of these projects are the exclusive preserve of the appropriate MDAs, and of course not the National Assembly. However, Mr. Speaker, this has generated a lot of controversy in the public and of course within our various constituencies, because the general notion is that these funds are released directly to members of the National Assembly. Mr. Speaker, I have had an experience with one of my constituents who approached me some time ago and requested that I provide part of these funds to him once it is released to me. Mr. Speaker, Nigerians are yet made to understand that constituency development funds are not given to members of National Assembly. Since these funds are made available every year, it becomes important, Mr. Speaker, that we give legal backing to these appropriations for their implementations, for even development of our various constituencies. Mr. Speaker, it is important to also stress that majority of Nigerians reside in the rural areas. According to statistics from National Population Commission, 65% of Nigerians reside in the rural areas where we hardly have presence of the federal government. If this bill is passed, we will have 2.5% of our total annual budget set aside for the purpose of developing the rural areas. Mr. Speaker, the negligence of the rural areas has led to insecurity in this country. And if we give attention to infrastructural development in our various constituencies, it will to a very great extent reduce insecurity. Countries like America, Kenya, South Sudan, and Mexico have legislations backing up constituency projects. Mr. Speaker, if we have a constituency development fund that is properly managed and implemented, that caters for the need of the poorest in the rural area, this administration may not have need.
Honorable Ajayi. Honorable Ajayi, order, please.
May not have need to appropriate 500 billion on social intervention for the poor. This bill has passed second reading in the Senate, Mr. Speaker. I therefore urge honorable members to support this motion that proposes to set aside 2.5% of our total annual budget for the purpose of developing our rural areas. I so submit, Mr. Speaker.